Hey friends, I hope you're having a really lovely fall day. I've been doing a lot of experimenting with dimension and texture, and I've been experimenting not on canvas but on one of my very favorite things, and that is cereal box board. I really prefer this method of working. I don't know what it is. I'm really kind of scared of a canvas, and I think we've gone through all that. I don't really know why. But this is a very comfortable place for me to work and work out designs and ideas and that sort of thing. Kind of work on techniques and see what's going to work and what's not going to work and what's not going to work, and then turn out really good. I've been going through a lot of my homemade element stash, just trying to think of ways to use what I have. I know it's the season of buying, but I'm not much of a consumer, so I've been cleaning and trying to figure out ways to use what I have here. And sometimes that means recycling it into new and different elements, and that's what I've been working on for just a little bit this afternoon after work. The cereal box board canvases are turning out really nicely. I really do like them. This is the first one that I did, and then I did this one, and then last night, just as a quickie, I did this one. And as I was pulling out elements to work on this, I found some old polymer clay blocks that I had. I had some old polymer clay, so I put it into a block. I just crafted it into a block, and then I sliced it just like you would like a slice of bread or something like that. And then I baked the square rectangle-ish elements. Well, I got those out last night, and they look something like this. And I decided that I would play with them for a little bit. So I did some sprays, and they turned out great. So I guess, can you see that? It turned out to have sort of a marbled effect on some of them. I loved it because they all turned out differently. And so I kind of did the same thing this afternoon. I was sort of working with some of those elements. So I wanted to show you what I came up with. I do think, y'all, that these require a very specific approach if you're going to use sprays. Now, I think you could, it's polymer clay. You could color it with some markers or do whatever you wanted to with it, or even paint it, do whatever you want. But I used some sprays that I had on hand that a friend had given me. The first thing I did was I shot my polymer clay rectangles with some Mr. Huey, and I used some red. This is very vibrant color, and I think just maybe having that color go down first created some of the effects that we see on the polymer clay. And then the second thing I did was shot it with some Delusions ink spray. I like the lemon zest color because it really kind of brings things out. And then the last layer was the Delusions white linen ink spray, which I really do like. A friend of mine gave me this as well. So I also had a little bit of green Mr. Huey's that I used for this. They really turned out so nicely, and I think they're a way to recycle and repurpose some of the elements that you might have in your stash that you're kind of tired of looking at, and you want them to be transformed into something else, like I did. So that was like my first little attempt at kind of taking an element and turning it into something else. I was really happy with these, and I think that on this piece they turned out really, really well. I like using them. I know that they do have a lot of thickness to them, but I still like them. I thought they turned out really good. The second thing that I wanted to kind of repurpose or find a new use for was some fused paper towels. This is a Jennibellie technique, and I did this on the last warm day that we had here. and that was Sunday. So they've had, you know, my paper towels really had a good opportunity to dry, and I thought they turned out really neat. I got some good colors, I thought. I love this technique. It's a great way to use up scraps of paper towel and turn them into almost a fabric element. So I did use one of those scrap paper towels for a heart, like in this piece. It turned out really good. But then you've always got kind of these leftovers over here. So I decided to turn those leftovers into homemade faux mosaic tiles. Again, it adds a texture of dimension. I'm not a good painter and I'm not a good drawer, so my pieces tend to not have the dimension that somebody that knows what they're doing could create. So I'm going to have to rely on other things. And these turned out really nicely. I like the colors, I like the shapes, I like the textural element to it. So it was a great way to use up kind of the scraps of fused paper towels that I had left. And I have a couple of friends that are wonderful mosaic artists, so I've watched them work, so I kind of have a sense of what a mosaic tile looks like and what it should look like. But I'm not telling you that I'm making homemade mosaic tiles, because I'm not. I'm just cutting up stuff that I have laying around to make something different. The next thing that I did was to take some old pieces of molding paste. Molding paste that I had. This is a Jennibellie technique. She mixes baking soda and gesso together and creates a homemade molding paste, and then you can put that molding paste on cardboard or cereal box board. Sometimes you can carve into it, which I did with this one, and that one turned out pretty nicely. These I stamped, which is very tricky because you have to kind of wait on your molding paste to dry to the absolute perfect temperature before you can press a stamp into it. But anyway, I have all these, you know, I know I'm going to use this for something, but then I had all of these other pieces. So I got those out and I've turned those into tiles as well. So, and it's really easy, y'all. I mean, all you're doing is cutting it. And then I started using Eileen's tacky glue, but then I found out that really a glue stick works a whole lot better. So I just put the pieces together, you know, kind of gave them a little squeeze, and you do have to let them dry for a minute, but it made a nice tile to use in a piece. I may keep this one like it is. It does say dream, but she might come under the under the scissors too, because I haven't used this, and it's probably been 3 years since I watched that video. I know here's another one though that it does have some rounded edges on it, but I think that's okay too. So we're going to cut that and we turn it over. I'll put a link to Jenny's homemade molding paste video so you can see how to make it. It's super cool, and that stuff's expensive in the store, so that was really nice. Alright, so I made a few of these, and then that was my old polymer clay stuff, old molding paste stuff, sorry. And then I had all this cereal box left over from a spray project that I did yesterday. And I thought, well, I'll just kind of turn those into mosaic tiles as well. So this is 2 layers of cereal box board. And those turned out really great. I did, some of them, you can see one here. I took a black marker and kind of just hit the edges on it to kind of hide the edges a little bit. But I think those turned out pretty good as well. So look at your elements, and if you're just tired of looking at them, maybe you can just make them into something new, spin them into something new. It's fun to take homemade elements and just make something fun out of them, or make something that you can apply to something else. I'm gonna love using these on my cereal box canvases. I think they'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me today, y'all, and have a good evening. Talk to you soon. Bye.